Well, you all know what time of year it is again. So, we got to get everything ready. That way we're not scrambling when the snow gets here. So, we're going to be doing some big maintenance this year. So, we'll start off with the small stuff. We're going to be putting a new flap on. This baby was like 50 bucks off Royal Distributing. RoyalDistributing.com, Canada's best provider in power sport parts. And I bought a lot of stuff from these guys and they are awesome. We're going to be putting a new belt on. And I want to talk a little bit about this drive belt particularly. This has just come out. This is the Dayco RPX 5032. Before, I believe it was just an XTX. I'd have to go down in the basement and get the other box and see for sure. But anyway, this is engineered for the aggressive rider, which I ride the thing pretty aggressively. So we're going to be doing the belt, the back flap. We are also going to be putting new spark plugs in right here. So this is pretty straightforward, but the Arctic Cat likes the BR9 EYAs. Just the cheap copper core, nothing fancy. I actually tried the fancy plugs in this thing and it worked good, but it doesn't like starting. So, which leads me to the next thing. Well, not right away actually. When we do the belt and we have the belt off, we are going to be changing the diamond drive fluid, which is in behind the clutch. I've got to do a little bit of silicone work here, make this snow proof again. You want to inspect all your rollers on your secondaries. It's also a good idea to inspect your suspension at your fastening points, top and bottom of your shock. I know these cats are notorious for beating this shock all to hell and that center rod and all that stuff, which is why I upgraded to the Walker Evans. So yeah, and we are going to be servicing most likely the reed valve cables. Not 100% sure yet. I have them, so I might do them, but I had troubles with that stuff last year, so I just want to rule that out. And this sled, I've had this since brand hammer new, 2010, and I believe there's 6,500 miles onto it, but I just got to start it up here to see. So yeah, 6,700 miles I got on this thing. And the other service we're going to be doing is I'm very excited for, so just wait and I'll go in the house and get them. So lastly, certainly not leastly, I went all the way and I decided this year this sled is getting the last high performance part known to man other than a turbocharger. And instead of taking the reeds apart and replacing all the pedals and stuff myself, I decided it was time to get the rage gauges. Just so you guys are aware, Royal Distributing has an awesome deal on right now. Whatever you buy in parts, you get a 25% promotional card back. It's only good for a few more weeks, so get on that. So we're going to be changing these. This is going to be a video of its own, But we'll do the belt, the plugs, the diamond drive fluid, and we'll get that flap on, and yeah, she'll be ready to go for the season. So for the diamond drive fluid, I mix up my own concoction. I use a 75-140, and I mix it with ATF, and it's a lot cheaper than that expensive diamond drive fluid that's like sewing machine oil. And I've actually rebuilt and modified the diamond drive in this machine. It has 1100 gears, so it's got a faster top end, and I also put bigger, heavier center bearings into the planetary. So yeah, so we're gonna get into this thing and get it ready. So lift your side cover and flip it back, and then we're gonna pop this baby off, and we're gonna loosen this bolt, flip this washer, open the clutch up so we can get the belt off and the clutch off and out of our way. Actually, in this particular scenario, I may get lucky, just be able to. Nope. You see the belt loosening. I also did a belt change video on this sled, but I'll get that sucker out of there. So just give me a sec. So we got the secondary off. This is a good time to inspect your rollers, make sure there's no flat spots. Oh, look at there, I've got a chip out of this one. So this is why you do these inspections. So anyway, and also keep in mind that there's little thin washers behind this in most cases. So this is our diamond drive box. We want to take our drain plug out and take our fill plug out to fill up afterwards. And they're also going to be same size, 14 mil. So just bear with me again. There we have it. Let her drain out. And you guys use whatever you want, but like I said, I use 75-145 with half and half of automatic transmission fluid. But if you want to buy the diamond drive fluid, go right ahead. So we're all filled back up. Good idea when you're done to clean this area up. You don't want oil getting on your secondary clutch. It'll cause your belt to slip and all kinds of bad stuff. So there, that part's done. Next part, our new belt. When you install a new belt, make sure you look at it, look at the arrows. So pretty straightforward, same as it come off, and you can watch the other video on how to do that. But the arrows is your key. If it's a new belt, you're supposed to drive easy for the first 50 kilometers. Hard to do, but you're supposed to. So anyway, guys, we'll get on to the few last things that we're going to do for our season maintenance, and we'll be done with it. Alright, so our belt's all back on. Next thing we're going to do is the spark plugs. A lot of guys take the whole exhaust system off. If you've got a 21 mil wrench, they design these things that there's just enough room. You can get your hands in there and you can pull all your plug wires off and just set them aside. And then you just get in there and crack them and turn them out. So we'll get that done. Oh, we've got our new plugs now. Just got to snap them in. Caps are all back in the spark plugs. Next thing we're going to do is install this new snow flap. If you own one of these Arctic Cats, I'm sure you've broken your flap off or reversed up over it. Quite expensive for a new one. So this aftermarket replacement from Royal Distributing comes with rivets, and it comes pre-drilled with all the holes. I believe we just slip it up underneath the tail light and leave what's left of the cover on there. At least that's how I'm going to do it. I may even bolt it on. I might not even use rivets. So and this here helps with the cooling of the machine, because there is basically your radiators for your snowmobile. So you want as much snow going up into those as possible when you're riding. And a lot of people run scratchers on these machines when they're trail driving to help it out. But anyway, new flap is going to help that a lot. So seasonal maintenance on a snowmobile, pretty much check everything 3 times. But like, look down here, we've got a mouse nest. You know, just foolishness like that, Mother Nature. This is even inside, and I still get the mice like crawling in it and chewing the little bit of stuff that's left in there. So make sure your exhaust isn't plugged when you get them out. You know, change your fluid, top your oil up, check your cables. If the cable's broke, it'll throw a code and the sled will work like absolute garbage. But anyway, plugs and belt, and away you go. Looks like I'm going to be into getting that secondary rebuilt with some new rollers. Probably put a new spring in it for what it costs. And that's going to be that. So I'll get this flap on, we'll see how it looks, and we'll be done. So that was pretty straightforward. I ended up using bolts instead of the rivets, but it's nice and stiff. It's got a good angle to it. Doesn't look like it's going to get caught up in reverse too easily, but I guess we'll find out as we use it. It's hard to say for sure. I'm sure it'll flex and bend down, but at least that's going to help with our cooling and help the guys out that's behind us. So that'll be all for this video. The next one is going to be getting into these Boyson reeds, changing them. So that's what's happening next.